welcome back. Another CPI, or as we like to say, the CPI report. Here it comes. Who's excited? I'm excited. I mean, this is always a great way to kind of get started for the day. You know, it's a little on the early side. And take that watch off, you know, get that sucker charged because it always dies during the day if you don't charge it during the morning. So there's your reminder. But anyway, look, everybody's going to be looking at that core month-over-month number. All right, we're looking for 0.29. It'll be rounded to 0.3. If we get a 0.4 or 5, we're going to vomit a little bit. The higher, the worse, obviously. We don't really think it's going to be that bad yet. We've got more concerns about the labor market than really inflation. So hopefully this is all a bunch of fugazi and a big old nothing burger, and we could just have a good day. You know, the Qs could rally, Tesla could rally again. We could send out a juicy alpha report and go make some predictions again and have some fun together. That would be the best case scenario. We got about 15 seconds to go. The good news is you can still use coupon code JHOLE. Well, duh, because Jackson Hole is in like 10 days. So you actually have some time, okay? We're being upfront about that. But what we don't have time on anymore is the CPI report. So with that said, here we go. Here are the numbers. And, oh, it's a match across the board. We got 02, 03 on the month over month, which is great. We got 2.7, a little lower than expected, and 2.9 on the year-over-year core. That's actually very good. CPI comes in at expectations. So that's 2.7 year-over-year. We've got 3.1 year-over-year core. I guess that's a little bit higher. Okay, that's fine. But that one doesn't so much matter. So 2.7 year-over-year, core 3.1. So a little bit of that move on the core. And then core 0.3 as expected, 0.2 on the month-over-month. Let's now go into some of the actual details here and find out what the components of this one are. And that way we'll actually be able to also calculate what that exact number is. But I would say across the board, though, this is pretty much in line with expectations. I don't think you'd see any kind of negativity in markets today. This should be broadly good. The big fear scenario was that we were going to get something big and frightening, and we didn't really get that here. So out of the gate, this is great. Starting to see S&P and NASDAQ futures take up after this, which is not a surprise, again, because we get this sort of negative catalyst out of the way. Now we're really only down to JPOW, if you look at it. Like JPOW for Jackson Hole, and otherwise things are good. So let's go look at the CPI report and get the actual details here. It looks like we had a little bit of shelter inflation. A note that shelter went up. Index for shelter rose 0.2 in July and was the primary factor. So only a 0.2% increase, and that was the primary factor. Okay, which isn't actually that much. Let's get to detailed by category. And I always like to start at the bottom because I think this gives us some of the best insight, although a lot of people are loading this right now, so sometimes it takes an extra second or two to actually get it to load. But that's okay, we made it. All right, here we go. So looking at the bottom, we've got miscellaneous personal services. Wow, those came in a little hot here, 0.8%. Fortunately, those have less than a 1% weighting, so not that big of a deal. Financial services really driving some of this, probably, frankly, because the markets have been doing so well. Fees are going to be a little higher, you know. Maybe not necessarily a bad thing because it's a sign, market up, fees up, baby. Okay, other personal services, 0.5, fine. Also low weight, education coming in at 0.2. That's not a big deal for services here. Pet services, 0.4. Still a little on the warm side right here. Let's see, here's some of our older highlights. Airfares, wow, airfares coming back, not so great. A 4% increase in airfares. Well, that's a sign potentially of good demand, honestly. That's a really big rocket ship right there on airfares. Motor vehicle insurance, only 0.1%, great. It looks like we might finally be over this sort of vehicle insurance skyrocketing. Wow, look at this. Car and truck rentals absolutely plummeting, negative 2.9%. Transportation services, a little hot though for transportation services, probably because of airfares going up 4%. Got health insurance at 0.4, mid-range here, hospital related, also 0.4, hospital services 0.5. We've got medical care services. That's pretty hot on medical care services, 0.8. Specifically dental services. Yikes. I'm going to the dentist soon. Of course, CPI goes up for it right before I go. Rent of shelter, 0.2. Honestly, we would have loved this during the period of, the pandemic. This was so much higher. So 0.2, this is a fantastic read here. We're also going to see what's happening with rate cut bets, but this is broadly quite good. Lodging away from home. This is fantastic. Look at this, negative 1.3%. Those hotel prices coming down. This is fantastic. This is good to see. Maybe some of that lower Las Vegas strip occupancy everybody keeps talking about on TikTok, huh? All right, let's look at goods. Smartphones, flat. We'll take flat on smartphones for 500. Computers, negative 1.2%. Yep, we'll definitely take that so we can play Rust or RuneScape better. Although I don't think RuneScape is going to matter much for our, GPU requirements. Unless, of course, you're using other, like, onboard rendering. Other recreational goods, 0.3, nothing big here. Pet products here, a lot of these highlighted from last time. Pet products, though, coming in a little higher, 0.5. Those have always been inflating a bit. Bikes coming in a little high. Other video equipment, 0.5. Okay, a little on the warm side here. Nothing that really stands out as super scary. New cars, new trucks, basically not moving at all on an inflation read here. 0.0 for these. Used cars actually up 0.5. It's a little bit surprising that used cars ticked up, but they could be pretty volatile. Which is why we like to exclude them. Look at footwear coming up here. Footwear, this could be very inflationary right here, right? So men's footwear up 2.6 and 1.4%. Footwear in general up 1.4%. Probably some tariff implications here. Infant and toddler apparel up 3.3%. Probably also your usual cheaper apparel. Not uncommon to see a tariff impact there. Although apparel overall only up 0.1, which is really nothing. Tools and hardware, though. Look at tools and hardware up 1.6%. Not the biggest category, but tools and hardware getting hit hard. Outdoor equipment getting hit hard. You've got, let's see here. Clocks, lamps, and decorator items only coming in at negative 1.8. Okay, we'll take that. Household furnishings coming in at negative 0.2. Those had a pretty big bump last month. So relaxation here. Appliances, big portion of the tariff warfare last time around in 2018. We can see here 1.9 last month, only 0.9, well actually negative 0.9 this time. That's pretty good, we'll take it. Furniture and bedding, look what we got here. Furniture and bedding, 0.9. That's pretty hot right there on the furniture side. Then, okay, let's take a look at some of these other items that we have. But so far, this looks really good. I'm going to take a quick peek to see. This should help sustain yields down. NASDAQ only up 15 basis points. Somewhat surprising. It's not up a little bit more, honestly. So, wow, 10-year yield is flat on this. That's kind of a surprise also. I guess it's at expectation, so it's sort of, oh yeah, here we go. No, that measure was just old. The CNBC website showed 15 basis points, but the Qs are actually up 64. This is why we don't use the CNBC website. All right, Kevin, focus. So yeah, look at this. This is what I would have expected. That's why I was surprised when I saw only 15 basis points. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Because yesterday, at the end of the day, you had this sell-off down to this trend line right here. I mean, perfectly down to the trend line, which we've been talking about a lot in the Alpha report, and we're going to be talking about a lot today as well. But some really nice pre-market trading here. MP Material getting a little bit of a bid. Tesla getting a bid. Circle, look at that. Circle up 10%. We've got, even Enphase sharing a little bit here. Bitcoin popping up a little bit. How's Ethereum moving? Let's see here. Yeah, nice. Look at that. 43.5 on Ethereum. Very nice. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other notes that are coming through, especially what we've got going on with some of the core numbers. Just a reminder, just to start, these initial numbers are very good. We have, really no issues in these initial items, which is fantastic, and broadly along expectations here. Let's see what we have from Nick T that I would like to see. So let's see here. Okay. Okay, cool. So Nick T tells us, let's see what commentary he has. Okay, Nick T says core prices and CPI rose a 0.32. Okay, so core price is 0.32, so we got to round down. Core prices month over month, 0.32, rounded down to 0.3%. Still along expectations. It's pretty good. Okay, now we've got how this compares, by the way. You've got a 3-month annualized rate of 2.8%, a 6-month annualized rate of 2.4%, and then if you annualize that further, so like if we annualize the current number, we could take 0.32 times 12, current read of 0.32 times 12 equals 3.84%. So you could see that increasing trend right here, right? That's going to be something we'll want to keep an eye on. By the way, I'm writing this information right here in the Meet Kevin app. So if you want to see it, you could download the Meet Kevin app, and you could customize your notifications for YouTube as well. So, you know, I know a lot of people are like, Kevin, I don't want your damn pilot videos. I'm like, all right. And we'll just, you know, turn those off. So household furnishings are among, yeah, okay, we've been watching for tariffs, that's fine. I'd say, based on what I'm seeing here, what really shocked me was airfare. You know, apparel only up 0.1 is great. So we'll write down some categories here. Categories of note. Airfares up 4% month over month. That's high. Tools and hardware. Let's go. Tools, hardware up 1.6% month over month. Apparel only up 0.1% month over month, which is really good. Video and audio products up 0.8% month over month, not great. And then computers, which is fantastic. Computers down 1.2% month over month, which is really fantastic. Shelter up only 0.2% month over month. Hotels, lodging away from home. Minus 1.0% month over month. Down. We'll keep it consistent there. Okay. Medical care services, not great. Medical care services up 0.8%. And car truck rentals. Cars, trucks flat. Car truck rentals minus 2.9% month over month, which is really good. We'll say down. Okay. And then, yeah, the airfares 4% was the surprising one. So I'm going to put a little caution sign for that one. And then financial services. But, I mean, that one's such a small category. Nobody really cares about that. Okay, cool. So that gives us a bit of an update there. I would say that this is broadly in line with expectations, though core is sneaking up. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what the suits are saying. Household furnishings, we saw that. Airfares up 4% on the month. Motor insurance. Insurance didn't go up that much. Somebody here saying it's up 5%. I didn't see that. I saw motor vehicle insurance. Yeah, 0.1. Oh, they're talking about year over year, 5.3. Oh, okay, got it. They should have clarified that, those knuckleheads. They talked about airfares 4% and then motor vehicle 5.3% in the same sentence. And I'm like, one's an annual figure, one's a month over month figure. Like, wake up. It's too early for you. Okay. 90% probability now of a rate cut in September compared with 74% beforehand. So that's pretty good. Let's take a peek at that myself. Oh yeah, okay, well that's also, yeah, it's actually continuing to climb. It's now 91.7. Basically, Powell has to set up the rate cut at J-hole now, because this is, the market is essentially now fully pricing it. And if he doesn't, that would be a negative, oh wow, it's up to 94% right now. It literally just tick updated. So let's go rate cut bets. Now, 93.9% chance of a September cut, up from 70% before the report. Sorry, that was 74%. So we moved about 20 percentage points there. Then for December 10th, now pricing in 2.44 cuts. And Jan 28th, that's my birthday. Kevin B Day, now pricing in 2.9 cuts. Okay, so that's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. So basically, I'm gonna make a note here. Powell basically has to, how should we put it, set up a rate cut at J-hole. Use the coupon code at meetkevin.com. Okay, so because if he doesn't, it'll be quite the surprise. If he doesn't, we'll say that. If he doesn't, he'll risk shocking the market. This is broadly bullish. Okay, this stupid HTML link's not working. Fine then, I'll just do that. I don't know why that doesn't work. I should be able to just put in meetkevin.com right here. Oh my gosh. Stupid editing software. There we go. Okay, good. It's all good. If he doesn't, he'll risk shocking the market. Okay, we got that. So, what else? I think that's pretty straightforward. This is pretty good. I think this is bobbing around, by the way, right now. So I'm going to make a note of this. Bobbing between 92 to 94% in trade. I keep seeing it take up and down. Let me see if there are any other comments on core. So I'd like to see Supercore calculated. That always takes a moment to calculate. Oh, how funny. Well, here's Supercore services. This gauge, which strips out housing along with goods, rose 0.48%. Wow. Wow, that's a really rare jump because it took out housing. That's not good. Why would we expect inflation there? That's really weird. Okay. Let's write that down. Very strange. So this would be Supercore services just rose 0.4%, which is 0.48 times 0.48. That's 5.7, which is 5.76% annualized. This is the highest gain since January, second biggest in 16 months. Okay, so why is that happening? I think that's part of the medical care services. Well, let's say strips out housing and goods, probably due to medical care services skyrocketing. So that's not great. This could give Jerome Powell some pause at J-hole or reduce the odds of a 50 basis point cut, even if labor weakens in August. However, J-hole won't have August labor data. We'll just have a rough jobs report with bad revisions, very bad jobs growth over the last, 3 months. Over the last. And a warming up inflation picture. Of course, Supercore services now rising, and core goods rising. So both of those not great. You could see that. Let me see if he has anything else. No, not really. Well, sometimes he posts a second. No. So this, you could see this sort of tick up, barely. 3-month annualized change is barely ticking up over here, and we've kind of seen this sort of up and down here before. So I don't really know, but it does. I would put it this way: broadly in line, so it's good. Housing helped bring this down, as well as autos, right? So like broadly. No one will really care right now, but I would say short term, or I should say longer term, there's clearly a fire of inflation burning embers, so to speak, that tariffs are worsening. I think that's just a simple way to put it. Then the question is, how manageable is it, right? The question then is it a forest fire? No, it's probably a manageable slow burn, which should license Powell to cut at least 25 BP in SEPT. If jobs report weak again, I'd expect 50 BP in SEPT, which that's going to be SEPT 17th, just so you have it. Yeah, it's also now, bets on this rate cut are now moving up to 95%, 94.9%. So we'll call it 92 to 95% in trade. So basically guaranteeing it based on the market's point of view at the moment. So yeah, all right. Well, oh wow, it just ticked up to 96%. Oh, yeah, I could watch this all day and just watch it keep getting priced in and revise this here. Just keep revising it up over and over again, huh? 96%. Anyway, we got to do the alpha report now in the course member live stream. If you haven't joined it yet, remember to go to meetkevin.com and join it. If you go to meetkevin.com, you could use coupon code JHOLE and you get lifetime access. Remember, there's only one price to pay, and you literally get all of the 8 courses, every single course. Every time I trade, make a trade alert, you'll get an alert. Every private live stream, and of course the thing everybody comes for every day, that alpha report, get that in notification straight over to you. And remember, you get all 8 courses plus that alpha report every morning. So you pay once, go to meetkevin.com to join, and we'll see you all over there. So with that, thanks so much, and let's get to the course member live stream.
Kevin is very talented, but I don't know if it's going to be him, but he's a very talented guy. Kevin's somebody would consider. Kevin is fantastic, too.
Kevin is much more interested than most people, by the way, in the balance sheet.
Welcome. Nice to have you. So you want to talk about lovemaking, right?
Bullish catalyst.